Take a slow breath, and then another one. Tonight, we are not going anywhere exciting. We are not rushing. We are not learning anything important. Tonight, we are simply walking, very slowly, through an ancient city that is doing nothing at all. This city has no name that matters. Names are not important here. You can imagine it anywhere. The sun is low, not bright, not dramatic, just there. The sky is pale, a soft color, almost boring. You stand outside the city wall. The wall is old, very old. The stones are large, heavy, rough. They do not shine. They do not impress. They simply exist. There is a gate in the wall. The gate is open, not wide, not closed, just open enough. No guards are watching. No one stops you. No one cares. You step forward. Your footsteps are slow, very slow. The ground is hard, packed dirt, smooth from many years of walking. But tonight, no one else is walking. The city is quiet, not silent, just quiet. Somewhere far away, a bird moves, not singing, just moving. You pass under the gate. Nothing happens. Inside the city, the street is narrow. The buildings are close together. Their walls are flat. No decorations, no colors worth remembering. Wooden doors line the street, all of them closed. Not locked loudly, just closed. The air smells faintly of dust, old dust, the kind that has been sitting for years. You continue walking. There is no hurry. Time is slow here. It always has been. The stones beneath your feet are uneven, but not enough to matter. You adjust your step without thinking. The buildings do not change. They stay the same. Wall, door, wall, door. Some doors are darker, some lighter. That is the biggest difference. A window appears, small, high up. Nothing inside moves. You look away. The street continues. Your breathing slows. In this city, nothing asks for your attention. Nothing demands thought. It is safe to relax. A corner appears ahead. You turn it. The next street looks exactly the same. This is normal. Ancient cities were like this. Not exciting, not organized, just streets and time. You walk past a clay jar resting near a wall. It is empty. Probably has been empty for a long time. No one remembers why it is there. You do not pick it up. You keep walking. Somewhere, a piece of cloth hangs from a line. It does not move. There is no wind. The sun lowers slightly more. The light becomes softer. Not golden, just tired. Your eyes feel heavy. The city does not mind. It has waited thousands of years. It can wait longer. You slow your steps even more. There is no destination. That is important. You are not going anywhere. You are simply walking, and walking, and walking. Take another slow breath. There's no need to hurry.
The ancient city is still quiet. It has not changed since you entered. It was not planning to. You continue walking. The street beneath your feet stretches forward. Not far, not close, just enough to keep walking. The stones are old. They were placed here long ago. No one remembers who placed them. No one is trying to remember. Your footsteps make a soft sound, a dull sound, not loud enough to echo. The walls beside you are plain. Some are cracked, some are smooth. All of them are tired. You pass another door. This one is slightly uneven. The wood has swollen over time. It does not open, it does not close. It simply stays. Above the door, there is nothing. No sign, no name, just space. You keep moving. The street bends slightly, not enough to be interesting, just enough to notice. There is a small stone resting near the wall. It has been stepped over many times. Tonight, you step over it again. Nothing happens. The air feels still, not cold, not warm, comfortably unimportant. Somewhere inside one of the buildings, something creaks, wood adjusting, stone settling. It stops. The city returns to doing nothing. You notice the ground more closely now. Dust fills the spaces between stones, fine dust, soft dust. It has no color worth naming. Your breathing becomes slower, deeper. You pass a narrow alley. It is dark, not mysterious, just dark. You do not go inside. You keep walking. The buildings remain low, 1 story, 2 stories. No towers, no temples, just homes, or storage rooms, or places that once mattered. Now they do not. A small bench sits against a wall. Stone, cold. No one is sitting there. No one plans to. You glance at it, then look away. The street widens slightly, just slightly, enough for 2 people to walk side by side. But tonight, there is only one, you. The sun sinks lower. The light grows duller. Shadows stretch slowly, very slowly. You do not feel tired, but you feel calm, the kind of calm that comes from nothing happening. You walk past another jar. This one is broken, one side missing. It has been like that for a long time. The city has accepted it. You should too. The smell of dust is stronger here, mixed with old stone and old air. You turn another corner. The street looks familiar, but you know it is not the same one. They all look alike. That is the point. In ancient cities like this, life moved slowly, very slowly. People woke up, they walked, they waited, then they slept. Most days were forgettable. Tonight feels like one of those days. You pass a wall with faded markings, once paint, now almost nothing. You do not try to understand them. Understanding would take effort. You are not here for effort. The ground dips slightly, then rises again. Your body adjusts without thought. That is good. Thought is not needed here. Somewhere far away, a door closes, softly. You do not react. The city is settling for the night. You slow your steps even more, almost stopping, but not quite. The air feels heavier now, not uncomfortable, just full of time. You reach a small open space, not a square, too small for that, just a gap between buildings. The ground here is bare dirt, smooth, undisturbed. You stand there for a moment. Nothing changes. No sound, no movement. This is normal. You turn and walk across it, slowly. On the other side, another street begins. Narrow again, quiet again. You enter it without thinking. The city continues to do nothing, and that is enough. Your eyes feel heavy now. Your body feels relaxed. You keep walking, not because you need to, but because there is nothing else to do. And that is how nights passed here, long ago.
Take another slow breath. There is no rush. The street continues forward. It does not ask where you are going. It does not care. The walls on both sides are closer now, not tight, just close enough to feel contained. The stones here are darker, not cleaner, just older. Your footsteps sound softer. The dust absorbs the noise. This city was built for walking, slow walking, careful walking. You pass another doorway. This one has a wooden beam across the top. It is cracked. It has been cracked for years. No one fixed it. No one complained. There was never any need. Above the doorway, the wall is uneven. The stones were placed without much care. They still hold. That was enough. You notice how similar everything feels, not boring in a bad way, boring in a safe way, predictable. You walk past a small pile of stones near a wall. They might have fallen. They might have been placed there. It does not matter. You do not stop to check. The air feels slightly cooler now. The sun is almost gone. Light fades slowly, very slowly. Shadows soften instead of sharpening. They blend into the walls. You slow your pace again. The city seems to encourage it. A narrow window appears. No light inside, no movement. Whatever once happened there, it has finished. You keep walking. The ground here slopes gently downward, not enough to notice at first, but your body notices. It adjusts. You hear a faint sound, not a voice, not footsteps, just something settling, stone adjusting to stone. This city has been settling for centuries. You pass a long wall with no doors, just stone, plain stone. It feels longer than it is. Your eyes drift along it without focus. Halfway down the wall, there is a mark, a shallow scratch. It might have been made by a cart, or an animal, or a person. No record remains. You pass it without slowing. At the end of the wall, the street turns again. You follow it. The next section is quieter somehow, as if quieter than quiet. The air feels thicker. Your breathing becomes slower, deeper. This is how nights felt here, long ago. People did not hurry. They did not plan much. They walked home, they rested. Most days were the same. You walk past another bench. This one is broken, one side lower than the other. No one fixed it. No one needed it. You imagine someone once sitting there. Then you let the thought go. Thinking is optional. The street narrows again. Just one person wide. Perfect. Your shoulders relax. The buildings here are slightly taller. 2 stories. Still plain. No balconies, no decorations. Just walls and windows. The windows are small, high, uninviting. You do not look inside. You pass a doorway with no door, just an opening. Inside it is dark. You do not enter. There is nothing waiting there. The ground becomes flatter, smoother. Less stone, more packed earth. Your steps leave no mark. The dust is too settled. Somewhere far away, something moves. You do not listen closely. It is not important. You walk past a corner where 2 streets meet. Both look the same. You choose one without thinking. Choice does not matter here. The light is almost gone now. Not night yet, just not day.
The sky is dull, soft, empty. You feel calm, not sleepy yet, but close, very close. The city remains unchanged. It will remain unchanged long after you leave. You continue walking, slowly, quietly, without purpose. And that is exactly how it is meant to be. Take a slow breath in and let it go. The street does not change. It has no reason to. You continue walking through the ancient city. Your steps are slower now, almost lazy. The ground feels familiar, hard, dry. The dust has settled so deeply that it does not move. It stays where it is. You pass another wall. This one is smoother. The stones were shaped more carefully. Even so, time has worn them down. Edges are soft, corners are round. You run your eyes along the wall. They do not stop anywhere. There is nothing to focus on. That is good. You reach another doorway. The door is closed. It has no handle you can see. Perhaps it opens from the inside. Perhaps it does not open at all. It makes no difference. You keep walking. The air feels heavier now, not uncomfortable, just full, as if the day is slowly exhaling. Somewhere above, a bird settles. It does not sing. It just becomes still. The street bends again, a gentle curve, easy to follow. You follow it. The buildings here lean slightly inward, not dangerously, just enough to notice. They have leaned this way for a long time. They will keep leaning. You walk past a narrow gap between two buildings, too small to enter. It is filled with shadow. Nothing moves inside. Your shoulders relax more. The city is preparing for sleep, and so are you. The light is now very low, not gone, just weak. Colors fade into each other. Brown becomes gray. Gray becomes nothing. You pass a stone basin near a wall, empty, dry. Once it held water. Now it holds time. You glance at it, then look away. There is no need to remember it. The ground dips again, then rises. Your body moves without thought. That is how walking was meant to feel. You hear a soft sound, a piece of cloth moving. Somewhere, a curtain shifts. Then it stops. The city returns to stillness. You pass another open space, smaller than the last one, just enough room to turn around. You do not turn around. You continue forward. There is no reason to look back. The street narrows again. You slow down naturally. The walls feel closer, safe, protected. Ancient cities were like this. They wrapped around people. They did not push them away. You walk past another window, closed, dark. Whatever light was inside, it is gone now. The air feels cooler. Night is near. Your breathing becomes even slower. The rhythm of your steps fades, almost silent. You reach another corner. You turn it. The next street is even quieter, as if the city has forgotten itself. You walk a little slower, then a little slower. There is no destination, no goal, just movement, just time. This is how evenings passed here, long ago. Nothing happened, and that was enough. Take another gentle breath. There is nothing to prepare for. The ancient city is darker now, not night, but close. The last of the light rests on the tops of the walls. Down below, everything is soft shadow. You keep walking. Your steps are slower than before, almost unplanned. The ground feels cooler under your feet. The stones have released the day's warmth. You pass another door. This one is slightly open, not inviting, just open. You do not look inside. There is nothing you need there. The air smells faintly different now. Less dust, more night. It is a clean, empty smell. You walk past a long wall again. This one is higher, still plain. It blocks the sky for a moment. Then the street opens just enough to see it again. The sky is dull blue, almost gray. No stars yet. They are not in a hurry either. Your breathing is slow, steady. The city feels settled, as if it has finished all its tasks for the day. You pass a low stone step near a doorway, worn smooth by years of use. You imagine many feet stepping there. Then you let the thought fade. The past does not need attention. You turn another corner. This street feels older, not different, just older. The walls are darker, the ground rougher. Still safe, still calm. A faint sound reaches you, not clear enough to identify. It fades quickly. The city absorbs it. You walk past another window. This one is covered. No light escapes. Inside, someone may be sleeping, or not. It does not matter. You keep walking. Your steps slow even more, almost drifting. The air feels cooler against your skin. The day is done. You pass a small stone marker near the wall. No writing, no symbol, just stone. It stands there quietly. You leave it behind. The street bends again, a familiar movement now. You follow it without thinking. Your eyes feel heavy. The buildings continue to stand. They do not move, they do not watch. They simply are. You reach another open space. This one feels wider. Not large, just open enough to breathe. You pause for a moment. The city does nothing. No sound, no motion. You move on. The night settles deeper. Your steps are almost silent now. The ancient city has stopped trying to be anything else. It rests, and you walk with it, slowly, quietly, without effort. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders fall. The ancient city is now mostly dark, not suddenly. It faded into darkness slowly, just like everything else here. You continue walking. Your steps are soft, almost imagined. The ground beneath you is cool now. The stones no longer hold warmth. They have given it back to the night. You pass another doorway. This one is sealed with a simple wooden bar. It has not been opened today. It may not be open tomorrow. The city does not mind. The walls beside you feel closer again, not closing in, just present. You feel steady. The sky above is darker now, not black, just deep. A few stars begin to appear, not bright, not many. They are in no hurry. You walk past a narrow alley. It is filled with shadow. You do not look inside. Shadow does not need attention. The air feels clean, cool, empty. Your breathing matches your steps, slow, even. You pass a low stone wall that separates nothing from nothing. It once marked something important. Now it just exists. You step past it. The street straightens for a while, then bends again. The pattern continues. You hear a faint sound, a footstep, not yours. Then it stops. Perhaps it was memory, perhaps it was nothing. The city remains calm. You pass another bench. This one is intact. No one is sitting there. No one will tonight. You continue walking. Your eyes feel heavy. The buildings now blend together. Door becomes wall, wall becomes shadow. Details fade. This is natural. You walk past a small pile of dust against a wall. It has gathered slowly. No one swept it away. There was no reason to. The street slopes gently upward. Your body adjusts. No effort, just movement. The night deepens. The city is fully at rest now. You walk through it as if through a thought, soft, unclear, calm. The air barely moves. You reach another corner, you turn it. The street beyond is even quieter, as if the city is forgetting itself. You slow again, almost stopping, but not quite. There is comfort in this pace. There is safety in this repetition. Long ago, people lived like this. Days blended together. Nothing demanded attention. Nothing rushed them. You walk on, slowly, without purpose, without thought. The ancient city sleeps, and you move gently within it. Take a deep breath. Let the calmness settle in. The sun has already risen above the gentle hills, casting soft, dappled light across the medieval village. The morning has passed, and now it is mid-morning, a quiet stretch in the rhythm of daily life. The villagers move slowly, deliberately. The blacksmith hammers at his forge, but not in a rush. Each clang of metal rings out, echoing faintly against the stone walls, a steady and soothing rhythm. Sparks fly upward, but they are small, contained, and bright against the muted colors of the workshop. He wipes sweat from his brow and pauses to sip water from a simple clay cup. Nearby, the baker has finished kneading dough. The bread rests under a linen cloth, rising slowly in the warm corner of the bakery. He looks out the small window at the cobblestone street, watching a few children chase each other, their laughter soft and playful. Nothing urgent interrupts this moment. It is ordinary, unremarkable, yet comforting in its regularity. Outside, in the small fields that border the village, a few farmers are tending to their crops. One pulls weeds, another waters the soil with a simple bucket. Their movements are gentle, repetitive. The sound of water trickling into furrows and the soft rustle of leaves in the wind are almost hypnotic. The air carries the faint scent of earth, warm sunlight, and herbs growing near the cottages. A woman carries a basket of freshly picked herbs back to her home. She walks slowly, balancing the weight carefully. Each step is soft on the path lined with smooth stones. She hums a quiet tune, a song passed down by her mother, simple and calm. The cat following her weaves between her legs, stretching and pausing in the sun. Time stretches here. It seems to move differently. The village clock tower chimes once, slow, deep, deliberate, and the villagers glance briefly, then return to their small, unhurried tasks. The potter's wheel turns slowly as hands shape clay into vessels. The rhythmic spinning, the soft squish of wet clay under fingers, is a quiet melody of ordinary labor. In the center of the village, a small fountain trickles water into a stone basin. A few birds sip quietly, pecking at crumbs. The water makes a gentle, continuous sound, lulling the listener into calmness. A villager sits on the edge of the fountain, mending a worn garment with careful, methodical stitches. Each movement is slow, precise, unhurried. Lunch approaches, though not with urgency. Smoke begins to drift from small chimneys. Simple meals of bread, cheese, and stewed vegetables are prepared. The smell is soft, earthy, unassuming. Families gather at tables outside where they eat quietly, occasionally exchanging low words about the day. Each bite is taken slowly, the flavors lingering, unremarkable, yet sustaining. By mid-afternoon, shadows stretch across the village. The children return from wandering the fields, dusty and tired. They lie in the grass for a moment, looking up at the sky. A gentle breeze brushes against them, ruffling their hair, carrying the faint scent of distant flowers. They do not speak loudly, only sigh softly, content in their small, slow world. Meanwhile, the miller walks slowly to the watermill, inspecting the wheel as it turns steadily. Water glides over the paddles, a quiet, constant motion. The millstone grinds grain into flour, producing a sound almost like a soft whisper. Inside, the flour dust hangs lightly in the air, sparkling faintly in the shafts of sunlight. Evening approaches. The sun lowers, casting long shadows across the fields and the village streets. Lanterns are lit one by one, their flames small, steady. The soft glow spreads across doors and windows. Villagers finish their tasks for the day, sweeping, washing dishes, tending animals. Each act is simple, deliberate, and slow. There is no hurry, there is no excitement, only the gentle, steady pulse of life. As the night falls, the sky deepens into rich indigo. Stars begin to appear, faint at first, then brighter as darkness settles. Smoke rises lazily from chimneys, curling into the cool night air. The village grows quieter, sounds of daily work fading to soft rustles of nocturnal animals and the occasional distant owl. In one cottage, a family sits together. The mother knits while the father tells stories softly, the words slow and winding. The children listen quietly, eyes heavy with sleep. Outside, the village is still. The wind moves gently through the trees. The fountain trickles. The watermill rests. Everything is calm. Everything is slow. And as the village sleeps under the blanket of night, life continues its gentle, unremarkable rhythm. Each day, like the one before it, passes slowly. Each action, each sound, each breath is part of this unhurried, soothing world. Take another deep breath. Let your mind wander in this slow, steady life. Imagine yourself walking these streets, feeling the calm, ordinary moments. Feel your eyelids grow heavy. The world is soft, steady, and calm. Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent. Only quiet, endless, slow life.
The night deepens. The sky is now a dark canvas, scattered with stars, each one small and distant, twinkling faintly. The moon rises slowly, pale and round, casting soft silver light across the rooftops and cobblestone streets. Shadows lengthen and blend, gentle and unthreatening. The village is quiet. Footsteps are rare and soft. The blacksmith has finished his work for the day. He wipes his tools carefully, sets them aside, and steps out into the cool night air. The faint glow of the forge fades behind him. He pauses, breathing in the crisp air, and looks toward the fields, where the wind moves the tops of the crops in gentle waves. In the bakery, the baker has extinguished the hearth fire. The smell of fresh bread still lingers, warm and comforting. He sweeps the floor slowly, deliberately, each motion steady. The cat, now curled in a small patch of warmth, purrs softly as the baker moves past. The villagers finish their evening chores one by one. Chickens are safely in their coops, doors are latched, and animals rest quietly. The sound of clinking pots fades to a faint hum. Only the occasional bark of a dog or the distant call of an owl breaks the silence. A family sits by a small fire in their home. The flames flicker softly, casting gentle shadows on the walls. The father reads from a small, worn book. His voice is quiet, rhythmic, almost hypnotic. The children lie nearby, eyes heavy, slowly drifting toward sleep.
Outside, the trees sway in the wind, leaves brushing softly against one another. A woman walks through the village carrying a small lantern. Its glow is gentle, warm, barely illuminating the path ahead. She moves slowly, her steps measured. She stops occasionally to adjust the lantern, watching the flame dance. The quiet of the village is profound. Even the wind seems to whisper softly. The fountain in the village square continues its gentle, steady trickle. The water moves in a calm, continuous stream, reflecting the moonlight. A few night birds drink quietly at the edges. The sound is soothing, almost meditative. Anyone listening closely could feel time stretching, slow and unhurried. The mill is silent now. The watermill wheel no longer turns. Water flows past quietly, carrying the soft murmur of the stream with it. The miller has gone home, settling into his simple cottage. He closes the door softly, and the house becomes still. Night deepens further. The village rooftops glimmer faintly under the moonlight. Chimneys release thin wisps of smoke that rise lazily into the sky. Each home is quiet, each window dark, save for a few soft lights. Life slows even more, as though the world itself is breathing slowly, deliberately. The fields beyond the village are still. The wind moves softly over the crops, creating gentle waves of green and gold. Crickets chirp in a steady rhythm, a quiet, natural music. A lone owl glides silently across the sky, its wings barely making a sound. Everything is calm. Everything is slow. Inside one of the larger cottages, the family has finished dinner. The dishes are washed and set aside to dry. Candles are extinguished. The father lays down a blanket for the children, tucking them in with care. The mother sits quietly for a moment, hands folded, gazing out the window at the night. The world outside is peaceful, still, and slow. A gentle wind moves through the village, rustling the leaves in the trees, brushing against the rooftops, caressing the walls of cottages. The fountain trickles, the stream murmurs, and the occasional distant animal calls. Time seems to stretch endlessly, each second slow, deliberate, calm. Now, as the night grows deeper, even the stars appear steadier, unmoving in their positions, silent witnesses to the unremarkable, slow life below. Everything in the village rests. The world outside continues in quiet harmony. There is no rush, no drama, no urgency, only slow, continuous, peaceful life. Take a deep breath. Let your mind drift through these quiet streets, across the soft fields, under the calm sky. Let your body relax. Let the soft sounds of the village, fountains, wind, night animals, soothe your thoughts. Sleep is near. Calm is here. Everything is slow. Everything is safe.
The village sleeps. The moon has moved higher in the sky, its soft silver light spilling over rooftops, fields, and paths. Shadows stretch and mingle in quiet patterns, creating a gentle tapestry of darkness and light. The night is deep, steady, and undisturbed. A lone cat pads silently along a cobblestone street, its paws making no sound on the smooth stones. It pauses to sniff the air, its whiskers twitching slowly. Then it continues, weaving past the cottages, pausing only to glance at a flickering lantern left burning in a window. The flame dances gently, casting soft, moving shadows along the wall. The fountain in the village square still flows, a calm, continuous murmur. Water glides into the stone basin with soft ripples, reflecting the moonlight like tiny scattered stars. Occasionally, a night bird dips its beak into the water, drinking quietly before flying away. The sound is rhythmic, soothing,
almost hypnotic. The cottages are silent now. Most chimneys release only faint traces of smoke, curling lazily into the cool night air. Inside, families sleep in simple beds. The mother breathes steadily. The father sleeps nearby. Children lie wrapped in blankets, their breathing slow, regular. Each household rests, part of a larger, calm rhythm that flows through the village. A soft breeze moves across the fields at the village's edge. The tall crops sway gently, whispering to one another in the night. The wind carries the scent of moist earth and faint herbs, cool and comforting. The distant hills rise and fall in soft shapes, unmoving and silent in the silver moonlight. The watermill is quiet. Its wheel rests in still water. The miller's home is dark, the soft breaths of sleep the only sound inside. Outside, the stream flows steadily past the stationary wheel, a gentle current moving silently through the night. Even the animals in the village are still. Chickens and ducks are nestled in coops. Horses lie in the stables, chewing slowly on hay, and dogs curl up quietly near the fires of their homes. Occasionally, a distant owl calls softly, and a cricket chirps steadily, keeping the slow beat of the night. Hours pass gently. The world seems to hold its breath. Every sound is muted, deliberate, calming. There is no hurry, there is no change, only the quiet, steady flow of life, stretching from one hour to the next in slow, continuous motion. As the first hints of pre-dawn appear, the horizon glows faintly, a soft gray blue. The stars begin to fade, one by one, reluctant to leave. The moon lowers slightly, its silver light pale and fading. The village remains quiet, but a gentle anticipation stirs with the approaching day. A few villagers begin to shift in their sleep, stretching slowly, yawning quietly. The cat curls more tightly in a warm patch of sunlight just appearing at a window. Smoke begins to rise from a few chimneys, signaling the start of simple morning preparations. The rhythm of life is about to resume, still calm, still slow. The night is nearly over, but its gentle, slow, meditative pace leaves a lingering peace over the village. Every stone, every tree, every quiet sound carries the calm of hours spent in unhurried rest. Life moves gently, slowly, deliberately. There is nothing urgent, nothing dramatic, only the persistent, soothing rhythm of the village. Take a slow, deep breath. Imagine yourself walking through these streets under the silver glow of moonlight fading into dawn. Feel the stillness of night, the slow pulse of life. Let it relax your body and your mind. The day will come, but for now, everything is calm, slow, and peaceful. The first light of dawn creeps over the horizon, soft and pale. The sky is a delicate wash of gray-blue, tinged with faint pink where the sun will soon rise. The village is still quiet, resting in the calm between night and morning. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves of the trees, carrying the faint scent of wet earth and herbs from the gardens. The air is cool, refreshing, and still. Birds begin to stir, soft calls breaking the silence, careful not to disturb the village too abruptly. The baker rises first. He moves slowly, careful not to wake anyone else. He kindles the hearth with small, deliberate movements. The fire crackles softly, casting a warm, flickering light across the walls of the bakery. He kneads dough gently, listening to the soft rhythm of his own hands pressing into it. Steam rises quietly from the warm hearth, carrying the comforting scent of bread. In the cottages, families begin to shift. The soft sound of blankets rustling, a sigh, the stretching of arms and legs. Slowly, the village awakens, not with urgency, but in a calm, deliberate manner.
The cat stretches and yawns, pads across the floor, then settles briefly in a patch of sunlight filtering through a window. Farmers emerge from their cottages next. Their footsteps are soft on the damp ground. They carry buckets, tools, and baskets, moving carefully across the cobblestones. The fields await them, calm and steady, ready for another day of tending. They pull weeds, water the crops, and check the soil. Each motion is slow, deliberate, part of a rhythm practiced for years. In the village square, the fountain glimmers in the early light. Water flows gently, reflecting the first rays of the sun. A few villagers gather near it, filling pitchers and buckets. Their conversations are soft, quiet, polite. There is no rush, no excitement, only the gentle unfolding of daily tasks. The bakesmith steps into his workshop, opening the shutters slowly. Sunlight spills onto the stone floor. He examines his tools carefully before beginning work. Each hammer strike is measured, deliberate. Sparks rise, brief and bright against the dim interior. The sound is steady, rhythmic, calming. Chickens cluck softly as they emerge from the coops. Horses nuzzle quietly at their feed. Dogs yawn, stretch, and lie again in the warm patches of sunlight. Life moves gently. Every sound, every motion carries a slow, reassuring pulse. The miller walks toward the watermill. The wheel turns slowly with the flow of the stream. Water glides over the paddles, producing a gentle, consistent murmur. The millstone grinds the grain with a rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound. The flour rises in soft clouds, catching the early light, faint and dusty, yet peaceful. By mid-morning, the village is fully awake, yet there is no hurry. Villagers continue their daily tasks slowly. Laundry is washed by hand and hung carefully to dry. Herbs are picked and bundled. Children play quietly in the fields, their laughter soft and unhurried. Each act is simple, ordinary, and deliberate. The sun rises higher, warming the rooftops and streets. Shadows shift slowly, lengthening and shortening as the day continues. The air carries the scent of fresh bread, herbs, and soil. Everything in the village moves with calm precision in a rhythm practiced and familiar. Even as the day progresses, there is a gentle, steady pace. Life is unremarkable, but comforting. The world feels safe, predictable, slow. The villagers go about their tasks, aware of each movement, each sound, each breath. Everything is measured, everything is calm, everything is peaceful. Take a deep, slow breath. Let your mind walk through this village in the soft light of dawn. Feel the warmth of the sun, the gentle sounds of labor, the quiet movement of life. Let yourself relax completely. Life here is slow. Life here is safe. Life here is calm.